Hello to all. My name is Micaiah Coleman. I am a sophomore at Tuskegee University, and I am currently a student of Dr. Bill Indy as I am enrolled in his public speaking course. Today, I will be analyzing the strategies of Professor Stephen Thurston Oliver that are helpful for teachers to use when discussing topics in their classroom that evoke strong emotions and uncomfortability within themselves and in their students. These strategies can be heard on the 4th episode of Season 1 of the Learning for Justice podcast at www.learningforjustice.org. Professor Oliver works in the teacher preparation program at Salem State University. The strategies curated by him are important in and outside the classroom. They encourage people to explore their level of uncomfortability with thought-provoking issues by pinpointing what specifically makes them uncomfortable, why it makes them uncomfortable, and what can they do moving forward to diminish that feeling and grasp a better understanding of the issue. Before I dive into his strategies, I need everyone to do me a favor. Please close your eyes and imagine being taken away from your home and separated from your family members. Imagine your labor being the reason that northern states of America became so economically advanced in the 18th century, but instead of being praised and awarded, you are forced to work even harder or risk the chance of being sold to somebody else. Imagine waking up every day and questioning who you are as a person because when someone of a different race looks at your skin, they see property, they see an animal, they see evil, or they see you as 3/5 of a person. You can open your eyes now. How do you feel? Personally, I am disturbed, and feelings of anger are starting to arise. These feelings are common in students when the topic of slavery is discussed in the classroom. As Professor Oliver once said, evoking feelings and discomfort out of yourself is necessary for growth. His statement holds value because there is a feeling of liberation that comes with uncovering the truths and uncomfortability. For example, let's say that you feel uncomfortable expressing your emotions to a friend because they made you upset during a certain situation. And you don't really know how to properly express your emotions and you're a non-confrontational person. I know a lot of people in my generation who this pertains to. One day, you get the courage to express your feelings and thoughts with said friend and realize that the friendship has grown because of that intense conversation. The same concept could take place when engaging in conversations that can trigger some students in a classroom or be deemed as challenging. If you are not an expert at that topic, that is truly okay. Discussing such a challenging topic such as slavery can expand your knowledge and teach you what is appropriate to say and what is not appropriate to say in a classroom setting. In regard to a classroom setting, teachers and students are hindering their intellectual development as they avoid discussing unsettling topics such as slavery. Intellectual development can be defined as changes that occur in a person's capacities for thinking, reasoning, relating, judging, and more as a result of growth and experience. Intellectual development includes their ability to communicate, make sense of the world around them, and reach conclusions. It's imperative to have challenging discussions with others to grow your way of communication and your demeanor when communicating. When discussing slavery, some teachers may not have it all worked out. They may not know how to make the topic palatable for everyone in the classroom. If the teacher is not of African descent, they may risk the relationships they have with their students by coming off as prejudiced or racist if they say the wrong thing. Professor Oliver's strategies can be used to help teachers feel equipped for tough discussions in the classroom. First, a teacher should use team teaching. Professor Oliver describes team teaching as having another teacher of a different racial and ethnic identity than you who can assist you with discussing difficult topics. Team teaching is used to make students from various backgrounds feel more comfortable engaging in said conversations. This strategy may not be accessible for all schools due to a lack of diversity or due to the teacher shortage that is currently happening. But if it can be done, teachers, please do so. As a Black student myself, I have experienced the feeling of being at ease when I had a Black teacher in the classroom because I knew in some way, shape, or form that we have some of the same thoughts and views due to our culture or similar upbringings. Other students can obtain that same feeling when topics that target their specific race, age, sexual orientation, or religion are discussed with teachers who share those same attributes and morals. Gaining a sense of comfort and trust may come easier when encountering someone who resembles you than someone who does not. Likewise, teachers should use the narratives and point of views of the people who are targeted with certain topics. With slavery, students should be exposed to the personal experiences and viewpoints of the enslaved. Slavery is a topic that needs more than definitions and textbook information that is very broad. Interviews and documentaries that provide details about how the institution of slavery impacted the enslaved will transform a student's emotional intelligence regarding the topic and change their viewpoint on America's standards in present time. Professor Oliver frequently shares the audio interview of Fountain Hughes with his students, where they hear the firsthand experience of slavery through the eyes of a Black man who was once a slave. A specific comment of Mr. Hughes stuck out to Professor Oliver regarding the ignorant of the enslaved. Mr. Hughes exclaimed, "Just like a lot of wild people. We didn't know nothing. Didn't allow you to look at no book." This statement helped Mr. Oliver deliver the message to his students that slaves were not ignorant by choice, but by force due to the oppressors or slave owners withholding knowledge from them. This tactic used by many slave owners reminds me of the current event happening in Florida with libraries at schools. Unfortunately, a lot of books that discuss the Black race are being banned, and this ban was approved by the Republican governor Ron DeSantis in his office. This saddens me because it exposes America for moving backwards with progress for African Americans. Books made for us should be made accessible for us, not taken away, especially a school setting where students receive access to materials that they may not have at home. This ban was very intentional in harming the development and education of Black students in Florida. Someone's intentions can relay a message that their words cannot, which brings me to my last point. Professor Oliver states that being intentional when engaging in conversations about slavery is essential during a discussion. Being intentional as to why you, as a teacher, are discussing slavery in your classroom and why you want to hear the opinions of your students will eliminate confusion within the classroom setting and allow a space where students can express themselves with the knowledge that their teacher genuinely cares about them and their viewpoints. It's important that teachers assist students with understanding why such injustice history, like slavery, occurred and how the people in history fight against it, and what are people currently doing to ensure that slavery does not happen again. Helping students make sense of the world around them is feeding into their intellectual development, which is imperative as they matriculate through their academics and through life. Professor Oliver shared amazing insight on his experiences he has had with students and other teachers when participating in dialogue surrounding thought-provoking topics such as slavery. His thoughtful strategies of getting assistance from another teacher with a different racial and ethnical background, sharing the untold truths and perspectives of specific targeted demographics of people, while also being intentional, can serve as a guide for teachers who feel uncomfortable speaking about slavery or other challenging topics such as sexism, racism, and more. Being comfortable with being uncomfortable will change the trajectory of how you, as a teacher or a student or just a person, will live your life. It can be challenging, but also riveting to let go of that fear. Steer away from being uncomfortable. Embrace it, be open-minded, and change your development for the better. Thank you.